Good morning, it's Bob Mason from FX Empire and welcome to the daily crypto tech review of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin and Ripple's XRP. We'll be looking at the MACDs, the moving averages and the day support, resistance and pivot levels. It is Tuesday the 27th of October. Jumping straight into Bitcoin against the US dollar, it's a bullish start to the morning. Going to see Bitcoin avoid a fall through the pivot at 13,028 to support a run at the first major resistance level sitting at 13,275. Support from the broader market is going to be needed for Bitcoin's breakout from yesterday's high 13,244. Buying extended value on the day, expect that first major resistance level to cap any upside. Then to breakout, could see Bitcoin test the second major resistance level at 13,491 and resistance at 13,500 before any pullback. Expect plenty of resistance at the most recent high 13,358, however. Fall through the pivot will bring the first major support level sitting at 12,812 into play. Barring extended sell-off on the day, Bitcoin should stay clear of sub 12,700 levels. Second major support level sits at 12,565. Looking at the MACD, we had a bullish cross late yesterday at the turn of the day, supportive of the early upside. On the EMAs, we're seeing a marginal pull away by the 50 from the 100 and the 200, also supportive of a bullish morning. So key through the early part of the day for it to fall through the pivot to sub 13,000 levels and move back through to yesterday's high to bring resistance levels into play. Moving across Ethereum against the US dollar, bullish start to the morning. Going to need to see Ethereum avoid a fall back through the pivot at 395.6 to take a run at the first major resistance level sitting at 408.99. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Ethereum to break back through to 400 levels, however. Sparring extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level to cap any upside. In the event of a breakout, could see Ethereum test resistance at 410 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 424.86. Fall back through the pivot level will bring the first major support level sitting at 379.73 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ethereum should stay clear of the 38.2% fib at 367 and the second major support level sitting at 366.34. Looking at the MACD, we're seeing a marked narrowing of the bearish histograms and a possible bullish cross there, so keep an eye on the MACD early on. On the EMAs, nothing conclusive after yesterday's late bearish cross of the 50 through the 100. So key through the early part of the day, avoid a fall back through the pivot and move back through to 400 levels to support upside on the day. Moving across Ethereum against the US dollar, it's a bullish start to the morning. Going to see Ethereum avoid a fall back through the pivot at 57.08 to support a run at the first major resistance level sitting at 59.16. Support from the broader market is going to be needed for Litecoin to break out from 58 levels. So barring an extended rally on the day, but that first major resistance level to cap any upside. The event of a breakout, could see Litecoin test the second major resistance level at 61.43. Expect plenty of resistance at 60, however. A fallback through the pivot would bring the first major support level sitting at 54.81 and the 23.6% fib at 54 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Litecoin should stay clear of sub 50s. Second major support level sits at 52.73. Looking at the MACD, we got a bullish cross supportive of the early upside this morning. On the EMAs, we're also seeing the 50 hold steady against the 100 and the 200. So key through the early part of the day would be avoid a fallback through the pivot and break through to 58 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Finally, looking at Ripple's XRP against the US dollar, also relatively bullish start. Going to need to see Ripple's XRP move through the pivot at 0.2505 to take a run at the first major resistance level at 0.2570. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Ripple's XRP to break out from 2.255 levels, however. So barring extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level to cap any upside. In the event of a breakout, could see Ripple's XRP test resistance at 0.26 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 0.2655. Failure to move through the pivot will bring the first major support level sitting at 0.2420 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ripple's XRP should avoid sub 0.24s. Second major support level sits at 0.2355. Looking at the MACD, we're seeing a marked narrowing of the bearish histograms, supportive of the early move northwards. Keep an eye on that though, see whether there's a bullish cross to support further upside. On the EMAs, however, we have seen the 50 pull away from the 100 and narrow on the 200, suggestive of further downside. So key through the early part of the day, move through the pivot level and break through to 0.255 levels to bring resistance levels into play.